Greetings, 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 greetings. This is I, your king, King Clifford Jefferson, a senator of God, the fifth kind of man Jew, son of folk, ruler of Jerusalem. I have by my side uh, uh, parts of brain freeze. Archbishop Belmont from the House of Belmont, from Mr. Illustrious House, here to bring you back with this the fundamental principles of the English heritage, customs, and traditions that were laid out by our forefathers. We greet you in the name of King Edgar the Peaceful, which is our Jesus Christ, which I'm the reincarnation of. May it be in the sins of God, the fifth kind of man Jew, son of folk, ruler of Jerusalem. We have a beautiful lesson prepared for you today, so we'll be brief. I'll let Archbishop say a couple of words, and we get on with this marvelous lesson. I digress.
Greetings again, brothers and sisters. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and continue to connecting the dots from the king had left off at regarding immortality. And this is a very important understanding that we need to, or excuse me, a very important concept we need to understand, and need to understand it from the point of view of biology, because many of us just have no idea that, we were created to be immortal. And we are immortal beings, not just from a biblical religious abstract sense, but more of a concrete understanding, which you can be able to see and will be able to experience if you are one of those who actually have been doing the work for this information to be able to resonate within you, to see yourself moving on in eternity. So with that being said, I digress and leave the rest of the intro for the king so we can get started.
Well said, Archbishop. I'm going to speak fast and move quickly so we can make the best of the 40 minutes that we got. And you, in lieu of relating this message to you all, our faithful brothers and sisters who are descendants of our ancestors who are the Anglo-Saxon Berbers. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, I got a small clip I'm going to show for you, and we're going to explain a little bit about it, and then we're going to pause and go into the part 2 of this. All right, so let's get started. Watch this film and pay attention to what's being said in regards to what we assume to be our ancestry, which we call our genetics, i.e. mitochondrial DNA. But outside of mitochondrial DNA, something was there before that. All right. This is called nuclear envelope, nuclear DNA, which we know nothing about. Only thing we know is about our genomes, dealing with the binary fusion of the sperm and the egg, which resulted in multicellular existence that we exist in today. All right. So this video is going to break that down real quick, real simple for you to understand it. Then me and Archbishop will come back and break that down for you. Okay. Let's get busy. Oh, don't tell me I erased that video. 1 second, let me get it. I can pause this, right, Archbishop? Or no?
You should be able to pause it, but I'm not 100% sure on
I'm not going to do that.
the time.
Just got to pull it up. Everybody pay close attention to what's being said.
Inside our cells, each of us has a second set of genes completely separate from the 23 pairs of chromosomes we inherit from our parents. And this isn't just the case for humans. It's true of every animal, plant, and fungus, and nearly every multicellular organism on Earth. This second genome belongs to our mitochondria, an organelle inside our cells. They're not fully a part of us, but they're not separate either. So why are they so different from anything else in our bodies? Approximately 1.5 billion years ago, scientists think a single-celled organism engulfed the mitochondria's ancestor, creating the predecessor of all multicellular organisms. Mitochondria play an essential role. They convert energy from the food we eat and oxygen we breathe into a form of energy our cells can use, which is a molecule called ATP. Without this energy, our cells start to die. Humans have over 200 types of cells, and all except mature red blood cells have mitochondria. That's because a red blood cell's job is to transport oxygen, which mitochondria would use up before it could reach its destination. So, all mitochondria use oxygen and metabolites to create energy and have their own DNA. But mitochondrial DNA varies more across species than other DNA. In mammals, mitochondria usually have 37 genes. In some plants, like cucumbers, mitochondria have up to 65 genes, and some fungal mitochondria have only one. A few microbes that live in oxygen-poor environments seem to be on the way to losing their mitochondria entirely, and one group, oxymonad monocircumanoids, already has. This variety exists because mitochondria are still evolving, both in tandem with the organisms that contain them and separately on their own timeline. To understand how that's possible, it helps to take a closer look at what the mitochondria inside us are doing, starting from the moment we're conceived. In almost all species, mitochondrial DNA is passed down from only one parent. In humans and most animals, that parent is the mother. Sperm contain approximately 50 to 75 mitochondria in the tail to help them swim. These dissolve with the tail after conception. Meanwhile, an egg contains thousands of mitochondria, each containing multiple copies of the mitochondrial DNA. This translates to over 150,000 copies of mitochondrial DNA that we inherit from our mothers, each of which is independent and could vary slightly from the others. As a fertilized egg grows and divides, those thousands of mitochondria are divvied up into the cells of the developing embryo. By the time we have differentiated tissues and organs, variations in the mitochondrial DNA are scattered at random throughout our bodies. To make matters even more complex, mitochondria have a separate replication process from our cells. So, as our cells replicate by dividing, mitochondria end up in new cells, and all the while, they're fusing and dividing themselves on their own timeline. As mitochondria combine and separate, they sequester faulty DNA or mitochondria that aren't working properly for removal. All this means that the random selection of your mother's mitochondrial DNA you inherit at birth can change throughout your life and throughout your body. So mitochondria are dynamic and to a degree independent, but they're also shaped by their environments, us. We think that long ago, some of their genes were transferred to their hosts' genomes. So today, although mitochondria have their own genome and replicate separately from the cells that contain them, they can't do this without instruction from our DNA. And though mitochondrial DNA is inherited from one parent, the genes involved in building and regulating mitochondria come from both. Mitochondria continue to defy tidy classification. Their story is still unfolding inside of each of our cells, simultaneously separate and inseparable from our own. Learning more about them can both give us tools to protect human health in the future and teach us more about our history. Less than a century after discovering the structure of DNA, scientists now have the technology to change it. So how does that work? Explore the groundbreaking gene editing tool known as CRISPR with this video.
All right. So as you can see, it says genes were the host. All right. Mitochondria DNA were the host that has the information for that gene to develop and manifold into what we call human beings. All right. And it said that that gene, mitochondrial DNA, was in the mother. All right. It's very important for us to understand, as Archbishop said, our genealogy going back to our biology makeup, our biological makeup. All right. So that's what we're going to do, because this is determines our ability able to become biologically immortal. Biologically immortal. All right. The spiritual immortality that all seek is biological immortality, which we're going to prove to today. All right. Archbishop, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Biology. Read first paragraph.
Biology is the scientific study of life. It is a natural science with a broad scope, but has several unifying themes that tie it together as a single coherent field. For instance, all organisms are made up of cells that process hereditary information encoded in genes, which can be transmitted to future generations. Another major theme is evolution, which explains the unity and the diversity of life. Energy processing is also important to life as it allows organisms to move, grow, and reproduce. Finally, all organisms are able to regulate their own internal environments.
You hear that? Everybody needs to understand that. Biology is what it's the study of your life. Whether it's mortal or immortal, biology is the study of your life, according to natural science. And it says, for instance, all organisms are made of cells. So the only way you're going to be able to have immortality in regards to immortal life is through the biological cellular structure where you came from. All right, from where you came, should you return. All right, so we have to understand who we are and our biological makeup. All right, to receive some type of biological immortality, because that's the only way it can be achieved. Let's go to immortality real quick. Immortality, real simple. You're going to be sticking and moving.
Immortality is the concept of indefinite eternal existence, even after death. Some species possess biological immortality.
Stop.
Some scientists.
So some species possess biological immortality. You know, biological is a study in the science of life on the cellular level. All right? On the cellular level, because the cellular level, you can't see that. You can't see the cells, right? So any type of immortality based off some type of eternal existence, based off what we're reading from here, is on a biological level. And biological level deals with the nature of your cells. And we know we have cells, we are made up of cells. All right? Next paragraph.
Some scientists, futurists, and philosophers have theorized about the immortality of the human body, with some suggesting that human immortality may be achievable in the first few decades of the 21st century with the help of certain technologies, such as mind uploading, digital immortality.
Stop. Mind uploading. We know mind uploading is the ability to be able to receive information from a light outside of visible light. All right. Let's define mind uploading, because mind uploading denotes mind transferring of information. But this is different from mind uploading or mind transfer based off a brain scan, because a brain scan is not a brain is not your mind, and your mind is not your brain. So you got to be careful how they wordplay in regards to you trying to identify the truth in the wordplay that they use that you're trying to decipher in your study. All right, this is what you call intelligence. Read that first paragraph.
Mind uploading is a speculative process of whole brain emulation in which a brain scan is used to completely emulate the mental state of the individual in a digital computer.
Okay.
The computer.
Mind uploading is a speculative process of whole brain emulation. We know what it means to emulate. So as I said, when you watch the video, it says the genomes, which is your genes, are the host. That's what it said. Your genomes or your genes, mitochondria and DNA, is the host. Because all your genes are situated in what they call the cell's nucleus. The cell's nucleus. And we know nucleus is by way it being restored there, is do what they call nuclear envelope. We'll discuss that in a second. These are all legal lawful terms. All right. So the word emulate. Can you see that, Archbishop?
Yep.
Read that.
In computing, an emulator is hardware or software that enables one computer system, called the host, to behave like another computer system, called the guest.
Stop. So in the video, it said that the genomes were the host. All right. The genomes were the host. It says in computer, a emulator is hardware and software that enables the computer system called the host to behave like another computer system called the guest. All right. So we know that mind transfer or mind uploading is like a digital computer, as it said. And it said the only way that mind uploading or mind transfer can be done in lieu of the topic, what we call immortality, is do what they call biological immortality. All right. Biological immortality. And we know biological under the term deals with cells. All right. Cells. And we know that the body is made of what we call cells. Let's move forward. So if it says that immortality can be achieved on a level of biological immortality for some species, the only way that can be done is by mind uploading or mind transferring. And that don't mean going to a hospital and getting a brain scan, as they're trying to make you believe. Mind transfer or mind uploading is due to what they call mental imaging. Mental imaging, because there were mental imaging, so we're dealing with biological immortality, and you can't see the immortality. The only way you can see immortality or phantom immortality is through the mind. It's through the mind. So what is mental imaging? Let's check that out. These are all legal terms. We're not speaking abstract. We're not speaking abstract. Read that, Archbishop.
In the philosophy of mind, neuroscience and cognitive science, and mental image is an experience that, on most occasions, significantly resembles the experience of perceiving some object, event, or scene, but occurs when the relevant object, event, or scene is not actually present to the senses. There are sometimes episodes, particularly on falling asleep, hypnagogic imagery, and waking up hypnopompic imagery. Excuse me. Yeah. When the mental imagery may be dynamic, phantasmagoric, and voluntary in character, repeatedly presenting identifiable objects or actions, spilling over from waking events or defying perception, presenting a kaleidoscope field in which no distinct object can be discerned. Mental imagery can sometimes produce the same effects as will be produced by the behavior or experience imagined.
Okay, so that brings us in regards to mental transfer, mental imaging, mental transfer in regards to what we call biological immortality, to receive some type of immortality, right? That doesn't come from your mother and father DNA. They ain't got nothing to do with your immortality. Nothing at all. Because your genomes come from other instructions that were given to allow the genomes to exist for you to become who you are. Because you just like every other creature that have that same type of genes. i.e. nucleus. All right, nucleus is the instructions for the genes to give you the ability to manifold into who you are today. No different than any other inanimate or animate object on this planet. You must understand that. All right. So that brings us to what we call photospin. Everybody look that term up. Photospin.
Go over his mouth.
Look at that. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. All right, a phosphene is the phenomenon of seeing light without light entering the eye. The word phosphene comes from the Greek words phos, which means light, and phenin or fannin, to show. Phosphanes that are induced by movement or sound may be associated with optic neuritis. Phosphanes can be induced by mechanical, electrical, or magnetic stimulation of the retina or visual cortex, or by random firing of cells in the visual system. Phosphanes have also been reported by meditators called nemitta, people who endure long periods without visual stimulation, the prisoner cinema, or those who ingest psychedelic drugs.
Okay, so we see phosphin is the ability to be able to see light without being able to see it visually. All right, with light entering the eye. Because when we see light into eyes, that's ultraviolet rays, that's radiation. All right, and you can't stare at the light too long, or else you'll burn out your eye. You won't be able to see. All right, so they have what you call phosphin, which is the ability to be able to see light without entering the eye. Okay, without entering the eye. And it said this phenomenon is associated with meditators. And we know meditators means to meditate, right? Meditators means to meditate. When you close your eyes, the light can't penetrate darkness. All right. So when you close your eyes, the only thing you see is darkness. All right. That's the only thing you darkness, but your mental faculty is still available to receive light through mental images, or what they call mind transfer. Mind transfer. And this can be done on a lower level, i.e. a biological level, in regards to what we receive as immortality. Why? Because immortality is achieved on the meditative state. Immortality is achieved on the meditative state. Meditation. That's what the Midrash, the Talmud, and the Zohar is all about. Studying and meditating on what we call God's creation, and you as a part of that creation. All right, it's called cosmogony. All right, the studies of the universe, the stars, and what allows the stars and the universe and all that's within it, including you, to exist. All right, this is seeing light, because we know light is signals, information, waves transferring through a medium, i.e. interstellar medium, to the transmission medium, i.e. to you. All right, not to the physical body, but to the cellular, on the cellular level. It's very important. Why? Let's go to meditation. You know, Christian? Meditation is a practice in which the individual uses a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity to train attention and awareness and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. So when we read in phosphine is the ability to see light with actually viewing light, i.e. visible light. Visible light is the light that you see with your eyes, all right? But when you see mental light is achieved by meditators, and meditators are those who meditate through what we call meditation. All right, you'll find this practice in all schools of thought. all schools of thought, you find that religious, what they call what's called sports, karate, chi, all that. You will find this meditation principle being applied, but none are applying it in regards to what we call immortality. They're using it to achieve heights on this plane of existence, but not on to assume or transcend or to ascension to that spiritual plane. All right, we're gonna get into that, because to understand that, you must understand what they call the biology of what we call dark matter. Everything has a biology. Everything has a biology. All right. So we have to understand meditation, but apply meditation to our concept, our custom, our tradition, because everybody's tradition and custom is different. All right. Let's find that out. Let's go to etymology of meditation. This is the etymology, y'all, and we already went and knew that the Zohar was based off the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah deals with mysticism concerning cosmogony, singularity, the Big Bang, space-time. All right, we talked about that in the last class. If you didn't watch that last class, I suggest you watch that one, because you won't understand this one. All right, etymology, read it, Archbishop.
The English meditation is derived from Old French meditation, and term from Latin meditatio, from a verb meditati, meaning to think, contemplate, devise, ponder. In the Catholic tradition, the use of the term meditatio as part of a formal, stepwise process of meditation goes back to at least the 12th century monk Guido II, before which the Greek word theoria was used for the same purposes.
Okay, let's go to, read the bottom paragraph.
Apart from its historical usage, the term meditation was introduced as a translation for the Eastern spiritual practices, referred to as dhyana in Hinduism and Buddhism, and which comes from the Sanskrit word dhya, meaning to contemplate or meditate. The term meditation in meditation in English may also refer to practices from Islamic Sufism or other traditions, such as Jewish Kabbalah and Christian hesychasms.
Okay, so how much time we got?
10 minutes.
Okay, all right. I just got to know this here as well. So you run out of time. All right, so we understand meditation is a form of mental uploading, right? Mental uploading in regards to achieve some type of immortality, all right? In a definite state of existence, all right? Once again, immortality in regards to living an afterlife or future life is based off mental transfer or mental imaging through meditation, not based off what you're seeing with your visual eyes, because that is distorted light. All right, it's distorted light. Why? Because you can't look at that light too long. If it was for your purpose and your goodness, your intent, you should be able to withstand the lights of the rays of the sun. You can't, because how you perceive it is an optical illusion. All right, it's an optical illusion. So we're gonna move. We understand that through meditation, it's a form of immortality, a way to achieve immortality, but immortality can only be done based off a biological immortality understanding, and that's what we're talking about in part 2 of this lecture. I digress, as Archbishop said a couple of words.
Except once again, brothers and sisters, just go ahead and pay attention, follow along what the King is presenting, and once again, like he said, stay tuned for part 2.
Okay.